I think it's pretty laughable how the United States pretends to be against terrorism and other nations when they support the Israeli government that is committing terrorism against the Palestinian people, while the Israeli government funds Israeli settlers who commit terrorism against Palestinians as well, and funds or helps funds Hamas, which is a terrorist organization. So it's like, how can they continue to pretend to not be a funder of terrorism while they're funding terrorism around the world?
Biden ordered multiple airstrikes overnight against Iran-backed militia groups in Iraq in response to attacks on U.S. troops in the country. We'll turn to David Spunt live in Washington, D.C. this morning for the latest. David?
Well, several U.S. service members were injured in this Christmas Day drone attack yesterday. Unfortunately, one of them critically. It's just the latest attack on U.S. personnel in the Middle East since the start of the Israel-Hamas war. President Biden leaving the White House to spend Christmas at Camp David, but his Christmas turned into a working holiday.
Oh, Big Whip, there's a lot of people that work on Christmas. Biden isn't special.
Pentagon says on Christmas Day, the Iranian-backed militia group Kataib Hezbollah launched a drone attack against coalition forces in northern Iraq.
What is funny is that Hezbollah formed after the United States decided to do an illegal invasion of Afghanistan and Iraq, which is terrorism. And the United States killed millions of innocent people over lies that they fabricated. So how can the United States claim to be the protector of freedoms when they commit terrorism?
Wounding 3 U.S. troops, one critically. The president, in response, ordered airstrikes against the group and others affiliated with Iran. In a statement, the White House said the president places no higher priority than the protection of American personnel serving in harm's way. The United States will act at a time and in a manner of our choosing should these attacks continue.
No, the United States doesn't actually care about the military that is in harm's way. Because after these people get injured and sent back to the United States does nothing to help vets.
Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin echoed that sentiment and added, while we do not seek to escalate conflict in the region, we are committed and fully prepared to take further necessary measures to protect our people and our facilities.
Okay, a better way of protecting your people is just removing them from, Iraq, where they're not really wanted anyways.
This adds to the growing list of more than 100 attacks on U.S. forces since October 17th, just days after Hamas attacked Israel. The White House has criticized Iran for its support of Hamas and Yemen's Houthi rebels, the group responsible for attacks on ships in the Red Sea. Some lawmakers.
Why isn't the United States critical of the Israeli government, which also helps fund Hamas? It's funny how the United States is going to criticize other nations for giving money to Hamas, but not the Israeli government.
Lawmakers, though, think a stronger message from the United States needs to be sent.
What we've seen is put 2 aircraft carrier strike groups into the region. That's a massive show of military force. But we've been highly inconsistent in terms of the way we deal with Iran from an economic standpoint and from a diplomatic standpoint.
And U.S. Central Command says the airstrikes destroyed several facilities used by the group and likely killed a number of militants. Back to you.
I wonder how many innocents died, because we know the United States like to claim innocent people that die in drone strikes by the United States are just militants. If you're at least 16 or close to 16, you are called a militant.
David, is there any indication the White House is planning more such strikes?
Yeah, it's a great question. White House officials not telegraphing directly when asked that question. However, in the statement from Secretary Austin and the White House, as you saw in my story, the government is not, meaning the U.S. government, not ruling out any strikes, saying time, place, whatever they deem appropriate, should U.S. troops be attacked again.